Hello, my dear friend, and welcome to Daily Drizzle English, where stories help you learn English gently, naturally, and with heart. Today, I'm going to share with you a very special story, a story that might stay with you long after the words are gone. It's about a young boy named David, and how he grew up facing many challenges, yet never gave up. It's about family, about love, and about a promise that gave him the strength to keep going, no matter how hard life became. This story will help you practice listening to real English, spoken in simple and clear words, so you can understand easily. But more than that, it will touch your heart and make you feel strong too. You will see yourself in David, someone who might feel small today, but who is capable of big things tomorrow. As you listen, you will learn not only new words, but also how to believe in yourself. Because like David, you have the power to change your life, step by step, with kindness, with courage, and with hope. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join me now. Let the words wash over you softly like a gentle rain. Let's begin David's journey, and maybe, just maybe, it will also become your journey. Ready? Let's go. David lived in a small village far away from the city where life was simple but not easy. He lived with his mother, his younger brother, and his little sister. Their house was small, made of old wood, with just 2 rooms and a roof that sometimes let the rain come in. But inside that house there was warmth, not from money or things, but from love. David's father had died when he was very young, so his mother took care of everything. She worked hard every day, selling vegetables and doing small jobs for neighbors, just to bring home enough food for her children. David saw this. Even as a small boy, he understood what sacrifice meant. Every morning, David woke up early, just as the sun was rising. He would help his mother in their small garden, pulling out weeds and watering the plants. After that, he helped his little brother get dressed and walked with his sister to the village school. His mother always smiled at him and said, "David, my son, you are strong. Always be kind, always do your best, and never give up, no matter what." These words stayed with him like a light in his heart. But one day, everything changed. His mother became sick. At first, it was just a small cough, but soon she grew weaker and couldn't work anymore. David did his best to help her, cooking simple meals, cleaning the house, and taking care of his brother and sister. Every night, he sat by his mother's bed, holding her hand, hoping she would get better. But deep inside, he knew she was very ill. One night, when the stars were shining bright in the dark sky, his mother called him close. Her voice was soft, but full of love. "David," she whispered, "I need you to promise me something." David held her hand tightly and said, "What is it, Mom?" She looked into his eyes, tears gently falling down her face. "Promise me you will take care of your brother and sister. Promise me you will never give up, no matter how hard life becomes." David felt his own tears coming, but he nodded. "I promise, Mom. I promise I will take care of them. I won't give up." His mother smiled, a peaceful smile, and said, "I know you will. You are a good boy, David. I love you." And in that quiet night, surrounded by silence and love, David made the promise that would guide his whole life. A few days later, his mother passed away. The house felt cold and empty without her, but David remembered his promise. Even though he was still just a boy, he stood tall and took the role of both brother and father to his siblings. He cooked for them, helped them with their homework, and held them when they cried, telling them, "Don't worry, I'm here. Everything will be okay." David worked hard, taking on small jobs in the village. He worked in the fields, helped carry water for neighbors, and did anything he could to earn a little money. Some days were very hard. Sometimes there was not enough food, and sometimes David felt so tired that he wanted to sit down and cry. But he didn't. Not in front of his brother and sister. He stayed strong because he knew that's what his mother wanted. He had promised, and for David, a promise was everything. At night, when the house was quiet and the others were asleep, David would sit alone by the small lamp, looking at the old books his mother had kept. He didn't know many of the words, but he tried to read. He wanted to learn, to grow, to be someone who could take his family out of this hard life. He especially wanted to learn English. He heard that people who knew English could find better jobs, and maybe one day he could move to the city and earn more. So every night, with tired eyes, he read a little, repeating the words softly to himself, imagining a better future. Sometimes when he felt too tired or too sad, he would step outside, look up at the stars, and talk to his mother in his heart. "Mom, I miss you. I'm trying my best. I will not give up, I promise." And somehow he always felt stronger after that, as if her love was still around him, helping him go on. David didn't have much, but he had something more powerful than money. He had a promise, a purpose, and a heart full of love. And even though life was hard, he never let go of hope. David's days were long and filled with hard work, but his heart was full of hope. Each morning, as the sun touched the roof of their small house, he would rise quietly, careful not to wake his brother and sister. He washed his face with cold water from the well, put on his simple clothes, and stepped into the world with determination. His first stop was always the fields, where he helped the villagers with planting and harvesting. His hands became rough, his back often ached, but he never complained. Every coin he earned, he saved for food, for clothes, and for the small dreams he kept hidden deep inside. When the day's work was done, David would run home, greet his siblings with a warm smile, and prepare their dinner. It wasn't much, maybe some rice or bread with vegetables, but he made sure they never went to bed hungry. After they ate, he helped them with their schoolwork, guiding them patiently, even when he himself was tired. He knew that their future depended on these small steps, on learning and growing, just like the plants he cared for in the fields. But when the house was silent and the night wrapped around him like a soft blanket, David's mind would come alive with dreams. He would light the small lamp, open one of the old books, and begin to read. The words were not easy, but he sounded them out slowly, carefully. Sometimes he didn't understand, but he didn't stop. He believed that one day these words would open doors for him, doors to a better life. He especially loved practicing English, whispering sentences to himself like secrets shared with the stars. "My name is David. I am strong. I can do it." There were moments, though, when everything felt too heavy. Some nights when the sky was dark and the wind cold, David would sit quietly and let the tears fall. He missed his mother, her voice, her touch, her kindness. He missed having someone to tell him that everything would be all right. But even in those moments of sadness, he remembered her words. Never give up, no matter how hard life becomes. And slowly he would wipe his tears, take a deep breath, and whisper, "I'm still here, Mom. I'm still trying." David's little brother, Noah, was just 8 years old, and his sister Grace was 6. They didn't fully understand why their mother was gone, but they felt safe with David. They saw how hard he worked, how much he cared, and they loved him deeply. They would often hug him, their small arms around his waist, and say, Thank you, David. You are the best brother in the world." Those words gave David strength, more than any rest could give. One afternoon, as David was carrying water to a neighbor's house, he overheard some men talking about the city. "There are factories there," one man said, "and they pay well, better than here, but it's not easy to get a job." David's heart beat faster. Maybe, just maybe, this could be his chance. If he could go to the city, he could earn more, send money home, maybe even bring his brother and sister to live with him one day. That night, David lay awake thinking, could he leave the village? Could he leave Noah and Grace? But he also knew that staying meant more of the same. Hard work, little pay, and no real change. He needed to be brave, just like his mother had been. He decided he would try. He would find a way. In the following days, David asked around, talked to people, and finally heard about a man from the city who was coming to hire workers for a factory. David waited for him, and when the day came, he stood tall, looked the man in the eyes, and said, "I can work hard. Please give me a chance." The man saw the fire in David's eyes, the quiet strength in his voice, and agreed. David packed a small bag, just a few clothes, his notebook, and the picture of his mother, and said goodbye to his brother and sister. "I will write to you," he promised. "I will come back, and I will take care of you. Be good, study hard, and remember, I love you." Tears filled their eyes, but they believed in him. They believed that David would keep his promise. As the bus drove away, David looked out the window, watching his village grow smaller and smaller. His heart was heavy, but also full of something new, hope. Hope that this was the start of something better, something brighter. He held the picture of his mother close and whispered, "I'm going, Mom. I'm going to make you proud." The road ahead was unknown, but David was ready. Ready to face whatever came, ready to work, to learn, and to grow. He didn't know what the city would bring, but he knew who he was. A boy with a promise, a dream, and a heart that would never give up. The city was loud, fast, and full of people. Everywhere David looked, there were tall buildings, busy streets, and cars rushing by. It was nothing like his quiet village, and at first it felt strange. The air was different, filled with new smells, new sounds, and new hopes. David held his small bag tightly as he stepped off the bus. His heart beat quickly, but he reminded himself, "I'm here for a reason. I'm here for my family." The factory was not far from the station. It was big, with many windows and machines that made loud noises all day. David met the manager, a kind man who showed him around. "You'll be working here," the man said, pointing to a room full of people. "It's hard work, but if you do well, you can stay." David nodded. "I will do my best," he replied. The days at the factory were long. David worked from morning until evening, lifting heavy boxes, cleaning, and helping wherever he was needed. His hands hurt, his back was sore, but he didn't stop. He thought of Noah and Grace, waiting for his letters, and he kept going. Every night, he sat in his small room, writing to them. "I miss you," he wrote, "but I am okay. I'm working hard, and soon things will be better." One evening, after a long day, David went to a small park near the factory. He liked to sit there, watch the trees, and rest his tired body. That's when he met Emma. She was sitting on a bench, reading a book. David sat nearby, and after a while, she looked up and smiled. "Hello," she said. "Long day?" David nodded, surprised by her kindness. "Yes, very long." They began to talk, slowly at first, about the city, about work, and about their lives. Emma was gentle and kind, with soft eyes and a warm smile. She worked in a small shop nearby and had also come to the city for a better life. As the days passed, David and Emma met often in the park. They shared their stories. David spoke about his mother, about his promise, and about his dreams. Emma listened carefully, her heart touched by his strength. She told him, "You are doing something amazing, David. You should be proud." With Emma, David felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: comfort. She reminded him that even in a big, strange city, he was not alone. She encouraged him to keep studying, to keep learning English, and to believe in himself. Sometimes they would read together, helping each other with new words. Emma believed in David, and that belief gave him new energy. One day, David received a letter from Noah. It was simple, written with care. "Dear David, we miss you so much. Grace is doing well in school. I help her with her reading, just like you used to help me. Thank you for everything. We are proud of you." David read the letter many times, his eyes filled with tears. He felt strong again, ready to keep going. The factory manager noticed David's hard work. "You are one of the best workers," he said. "I want to give you more responsibility." David was happy. More work meant more money, and more money meant he could send more home. He saved every coin, dreaming of the day he could bring Noah and Grace to the city. One evening, as he and Emma sat in the park, David said, "I want to do more. I want to study at night, learn more English, and get a better job." Emma smiled. "You can, David. I believe in you." And so David began night classes, studying after work, even when he was tired. Emma helped him, bringing him books, practicing with him, always encouraging him. David's world was changing. He still worked hard, but now he also dreamed bigger. He saw a future where his family could be together again, where he could give his brother and sister the life they deserved. And in that future, he saw Emma too, by his side, sharing every step, every moment. Through the noise of the city, through the long days and nights, David's heart stayed full of hope, full of love, and full of the promise he had made long ago. He was not the same boy who had left the village. He was stronger now, wiser, and ready for whatever came next. Weeks turned into months, and David's life slowly began to change. The factory was still noisy, the work still hard, but David no longer felt lost. He had a purpose, and every day he moved one step closer to his dream. His nights were filled with studying, learning more English, and thinking about the future. His days were busy with work, but his heart was full of something new: love. David and Emma grew closer. She became not just a friend, but a part of his life. She would wait for him after work with a smile and sometimes a small treat, a piece of bread, a sweet fruit, just to make him happy. They talked about everything, their hopes, their fears, and the simple joys of each day. With Emma, David could finally rest. He didn't have to be strong all the time. He could just be himself. One evening, after a long day, David and Emma sat together under the soft light of the park lamps. The city around them was alive with sounds, but in that small space, everything felt quiet. David looked at her, his heart beating gently. "Emma," he said, "I want to tell you something." She turned to him, her eyes kind and patient. "I love you," David said softly. "You make my world better, even when it's hard." Emma smiled, her eyes shining. "I love you too, David. I believe in you. I believe in us." In that moment, David felt something he hadn't felt since his mother was alive: peace. A deep, warm peace that told him he was exactly where he needed to be. David worked harder than ever, but now he was not alone. Emma was by his side, helping him, lifting him, giving him strength. With his new role at the factory, he earned more, and saved every bit he could. After many months, he had enough to bring Noah and Grace to the city. When he went to the village to get them, they ran to him, their eyes wide with joy. "David," they shouted, holding him tight, "we missed you so much." David hugged them close, his heart full. "I missed you too. We are together now." He took them to the city, showed them the small home he had made, and introduced them to Emma. She welcomed them like family, cooking for them, helping them settle into their new life. Noah and Grace went to school, just like David had always dreamed. He helped them with their homework at night, just as he had done before. But now things were different. They had more food, warm clothes, and a safe place to live. And most of all, they had each other. David's life was simple but beautiful. He worked during the day, studied at night, and spent his evenings with Emma and his siblings. Sometimes they all sat together, telling stories, laughing, remembering the past, and dreaming about the future. As time passed, David's efforts were noticed even more. One day, the factory manager called him into the office. "David," he said, "you are one of the best workers we have. I want to promote you. You will help manage the team now." David was surprised but grateful. "Thank you," he said. "I will do my best." With his new position, life became a bit easier. He could provide more for Noah and Grace, and he could finally give Emma the life she deserved. One sunny afternoon, in the same park where they first met, David held Emma's hand. "You have been with me through everything," he said. "Will you marry me?" Emma's eyes filled with tears of joy. "Yes, David, I will." They had a small wedding with just a few close friends and, of course, Noah and Grace by their side. There were no fancy decorations, no big party, just love, pure and strong. They promised to walk together through all of life's ups and downs, always believing in each other. After the wedding, their home was filled with laughter and warmth. David never forgot where he came from, and he never stopped working hard, but now he did it with joy. He saw Noah growing into a kind young man, dreaming of becoming a doctor. He saw Grace smiling brightly, saying she wanted to be a teacher. And beside him, Emma, his heart, his light, always believing in him. David had kept his promise to his mother, to his siblings, and to himself. Life was not perfect, but it was full of love, of strength, and of quiet, beautiful moments that made everything worth it. As the years passed, David's life continued to grow, not in riches, but in meaning. He had everything he once only dreamed of. A home filled with love, a family that smiled with hope, and a heart that was finally at peace. But even as he enjoyed the small joys of each day, watching Grace walk to school, seeing Noah study hard, sharing quiet dinners with Emma, David never forgot the days when life was hard, when he was just a boy with tired hands and a heavy heart. And he knew, deep inside, that it was time to do something more. Something for the children who were still living the life he had once known. One evening, as David sat with Emma under the soft glow of the lamp, he spoke from his heart. "Emma," he said gently, "I want to help other children like me, who need someone to believe in them." Emma looked at him with warmth. "I've been thinking the same," she replied. "We have so much love, David. Let's share it." And so together they began something beautiful. David talked to his friends at the factory, to neighbors, to people in the city who remembered what it was like to struggle. Slowly, little by little, they raised money, not much, but enough to start. They opened a small room near their home, filled it with books, with colors, with hope. They invited children from poor families, from lonely streets, to come and learn, to come and dream. David sat with them, taught them simple words, helped them read, and most of all, reminded them that they mattered. The small room grew into something more. With time, more people joined, more hearts opened. They built a community center, a place where children could play, learn, and feel safe. A place where no one was too poor to dream. David saw himself in every child's eyes, the fear, the hope, the hunger for something better, and he gave them what his mother had given him, belief. Noah and Grace also joined in. Noah, now a young man, studied medicine, just as he had always wanted, but he still found time to help, teaching the children about health, about caring for others. Grace, now a bright student, taught the younger ones to read, her voice filled with joy as she saw them grow. And Emma, always gentle, made sure every child felt loved, bringing food, stories, and songs to fill their hearts. One evening, as the sun set behind the city buildings, David stood outside the center, watching the children laugh and play. Emma came beside him, her hand in his. "You've made something beautiful, David," she said. He shook his head softly. "We've made it. Together." He thought of his mother then. Her face, her voice, the way she held him and whispered, "Never give up." He had carried her words through every dark night, through every tired step. And now, looking at the life he had built, he felt her presence, quiet and strong. Life was still full of challenges. The world was not perfect. But David had learned something powerful, that happiness doesn't come from having everything. It comes from love, from purpose, from giving. Every time he saw a child smile, every time he saw someone believe in themselves, he knew that he was living his promise. One day, Noah came home with exciting news. "David," he said, "I finished my studies. I'm now a doctor. And I want to open a small clinic here near our center to help those who cannot pay." David hugged him tightly, his heart full. "You've made me proud, Noah. Mom would be proud too." Grace also had dreams. She wanted to be a teacher to inspire children just like she had been inspired. David supported them both every step of the way, and so their little corner of the city became a place of hope. A school, a clinic, a home, not just for David's family, but for many others. People came, not because of money, but because they felt something real there. A kindness that could not be bought, a love that was shared freely. Years later, as David sat in the same park where he first met Emma, he watched the trees sway gently in the wind. Beside him, Emma held his hand, and in front of them their own children played. He smiled, thinking of the journey, from a small village boy with nothing but a promise to a man whose life was full. He turned to Emma and said softly, "We didn't have much, but we had enough. Enough to love, to give, to build something true." And she replied, "That's what life is, David. Not about having it all, but about choosing love every day." David nodded, feeling the peace that comes when you have given your heart to something greater than yourself. His story, once just a dream in a small house with a broken roof, had become a light for others, and in that light, he found everything he had ever needed. The promise he made long ago had not only changed his life, it had changed the world around him, one heart at a time.